Welcome to the Growth Hacks Experiences podcast, where coaches, founders, and entrepreneurs share their skills, tips, and insights on how to become better leaders, better managers, better coaches. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of Growth Hacks Experiences. Today, I'm honored to have as a guest of Growth Hacks Experiences, Adam. And we are going to speak indeed today about a very unique topic that has to be in front of the to-do list of every entrepreneur. How to understand their business, how to understand how they could communicate their business better to obtain better results in terms of getting the right customer, getting the right people they want to work with, and achieve their objectives. Adam, how are you today?
Hello there. Thank you. I'm very good. I'm in the beautiful Bali right now and planning to stay here for a couple of months and try to, live the life of my dreams. So yeah, on this beautiful island. And I'm also happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Wonderful. Well, just to give a bit information about to our community, Adam is an specialist in many areas, and one of those areas of course, is sales. The definition of high ticket sales, the definition of how to understand how to promote your business and to a next level of growth. Adam, could you tell us a little bit of how is your vision? How did you get to the point now in Bali of having a world business?
All right. So actually, I think I should start, probably from 10 years from now, but I don't want to bore you. So actually, I'm gonna keep it very brief. So technically, my educational background, I'm a psychologist, and I was always fascinated and interested in how people behave, how they make decisions, and how they react on different situations, and how you can influence them. But don't get me wrong, not influencing them in a bad way. How you can help them to make the good decisions, how to make them drive into the direction which is probably not known for them, that this is a good path. But however, you can see from the outside that this is the right choice for them. So I've always been on, trying to acquire all the knowledge about sales, about psychology. And during the university, so actually sales wasn't my thing back then, 10 years from now, 10 years back then. Wasn't my thing. I never thought I will have anything to do with sales. So actually, I'm an introverted guy who is still like to spend a lot of time on the couch, watching Netflix, eating chips, and I don't know, working out sometimes, but not something connected to sales. But during the university, when I was doing my master's degree in organization and social psychology, I had to do something to keep my head over the surface financial wise, since I'm coming from a very humble financial background family. And after a few dead ends, let's say, meeting a couple of companies and products that I wasn't so into them, I ended up working with one of the biggest multinational company in Europe. I think we can say it's the E.ON, the electricity and gas distributor company based in Germany. And I was involved in the renewable energy sales, and it was something that I could really relate with. So finally, I found a product where I could say that, okay, this is something I can really be passionate about, and this is the first thing when I always talk with someone about sales. Are you passionate about your product, your service, about what you do? And if the answer is not a hell yes, it's always a warning. It's a red flag that, oh, okay, maybe it's a mindset problem sometimes, or maybe, and you can change it, but sometimes you have to choose another product or another service to sell because this is not for you. Yeah, so finally I found something that I could really relate with, and I started to focus on the photovoltaic systems, the solar modules that you can implement on your roof, and it produces electricity for the household and for commercial buildings as well. So actually, at the beginning, I was stuck, we can say. So I'm an introverted guy. I had hard times to do any kind of sales, but when I figured out that it can be a game, I don't have to take myself and the whole situation too serious. And this is something I also suggest to entrepreneurs and my clients as well. Don't take yourself too serious. If you start to take yourself too seriously, it will ruin the whole thing around you. So I started to create a game for myself, and I started to figure out how can I implement the things I learned in theory during my psychological education. How can I implement those things in practice with clients, with real people? And it's kind of an interesting stuff that you learn a lot of stuff during your university years, and how these things are actually function in practice. It's a whole different level and a whole different game. But for me, it created fun. And for me, it was something that helped me to accept the no, which in sales, it's pretty much, something common in sales. And if you are not good accepting a no, you won't be a good salesman. You won't create high revenue in sales, because even if I was, after years, the best salesman in my country, I'm from Hungary, by the way, I was the best salesman. I got 25% conversion rate from the all incoming leads, which meant that from out of 4 clients, 3 told me that they won't buy from me. And I was the best. So it means that you have to accept a lot of no's. But for me, it was just mindset. And I knew that I have to meet a couple of people to find those who are ready to buy, have the money for that, and they also need my product. Because this is something very important, that we are not selling to, I'm not selling anything to anyone who don't need my product or my service. So I think this is also very important, because a lot of companies I met and a lot of people I met during my journey, they feel like I have to sell everything to anyone who has the money to pay for it. And in the long run, that's not the game, I guess. So yeah, I spent 8 years in sales. I generated around 25 million euros in total revenue. And I also had the opportunity to build up a sales team in the Czech Republic, which was a very challenging thing, let's be honest. So we started from scratch. And after 1.5 years, the team, also in the renewable energy industry for the E.ON, they became market leaders. So I'm very proud of them. And they are still the market leaders. So even if I'm not working with them anymore, probably they could implement what we work together. So yeah, talking about coaching, during the time with the team in the Czech Republic, I actually had to realize that sales is something I like and do very good, let's be honest. But training people, coaching them, and help them to grow, this is something I love. And that was a breakthrough for me, because I had to realize that even if I have a great position, I wouldn't say job because I was a contractor, but this is not really the case here. So actually, I had to realize that this position, even if I'm a leader, even if I'm a high achiever, this is a limit, and I have to let it go to step to the next level. And for me, coaching and working with entrepreneurs who are not, most of the times they are not really into sales, but they know that they have to do some kind of sales to generate the revenue. This is something I really love. I also have the entrepreneur mindset
Yeah,
passionate about. So this is something that when I feel like, okay, this is for me. And yeah, so my vision is to not just to be a coach, and I mean, just be a coach is not a bad thing, but actually my idea is to be an entrepreneur, have a company around coaching, and try to spread what I know to others and help them grow. And I cannot do it alone, so I will. In my 3-year vision, I see a company in front of me, coaches, psychologists, and other people who are willing to help entrepreneurs to grow. And I really want to focus on startups because I feel that they need the most support. Huge multinational companies, they have the capital, they have the human resource and everything what they need to grow. But startups, founders in the early stage when they are the most vulnerable, and this is the situation when most of the companies fail. I want to contribute here to help those companies who are creating something good for the future, good for the humanity. They could be, they could grow. So this is my vision. And I think it was a bit longer than I expected, but I hope you find some value in my journey.
wonderful, 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 Adam. Thank you very much indeed. Taking some of the golden nuggets that you just delivered to us. Indeed, authenticity, understanding who you are, uh, defining a mindset early in your career. Congratulations, indeed, because I consider that that's certainly one of the biggest challenges that many people have. Uh, we tend to just jump into a company and then just react on what's going on. But you
Mm-hmm.
adapted your mindset, your set, your goals, your strategies, and created success in this sector. Congratulations! And because I consider myself, I was an engineer, and I learned sales the hard way as well. It's important. It's so important indeed as entrepreneurs. At a certain way, we understand that we only can share our message. We can only create abundance about what we want to create in this world is by knowing how to share that message as well, which is sales as well.
Exactly.
Super. So, Adam, if I would consider what you were mentioning about your experience with Germany coming from Hungary, you have been an an entrepreneur and a professional also that created a career in a foreign country. This is something that is happening a lot now. For example, now you're in Bali as well, building your
Mm-hmm.
business. What do you consider that are some of the skills that an entrepreneur and a person that actually is building this authenticity around their business, about their offer, how should they how should they adapt themselves to the market? What are the skills that they should be gaining when they enter into a new market?
Okay, so Basically, so I think when you are new in a business or trying to launch a new company or a new product, the most important and yet probably the hardest part is to find your niche. I know most of the people talking about right now finding your niche, focusing on a niche, but I talked with dozens of companies, dozens of founders, and they just think and want to think and feel that they have the niche, but they don't have. This is also too broad. They are, and you know, everything starts with your niche, because from the niche you can create the pain points of your target audience, and your niche, you can find it. You can really find the burning desires and the sweet spot when people are willing to pay more probably than you or I or any kind of entrepreneur expect, because you really found something that they desire from heart. But if you don't have your niche and you don't know your niche, you will have a broad message which speaks to everyone, but not speaking to anyone. Really speaking, I mean. So this is something very hard, and I found that in an early and mid-stage companies, this is the most important from sales perspective, to identify who you want to work with, and this is the job of the founder, because this is also something I found that they try to delegate this, because it's hard. You have to sit down, think about it for hours, and when you feel like, okay, I got my niche, you'll have to think about it again, burn it down, start again. So it's a process. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. It's uncomfortable when someone starts to challenge you on your niche. So, for example, Monil from CBC, we worked a lot on my niche together. So, as a coach, you probably have to have your own coach. This is something just for coaches. And you know, when I told Monil that, okay, Monil, I have my niche, I figured out everything, and he started to challenge me, and I felt like, I hate you, Monil. I don't wanna I don't wanna continue this conversation, because I spent hours, I spent days thinking about my niche. I thought I figured out everything, and with 3-4 great questions, you know, straight to the point. Okay, then I will go back, figure it out again, and come back to you, and probably will hate you again, but this is how you build your niche. Some technical help, if someone wants to find their niche, I always ask 3 questions, which is the most important about your niche. One is, do you like your niche? You have to like those people who you want to serve, even if it's your product. It's more important if it's a service that we are talking about. But the first question is, do you like your niche? If it's not a hell yes, you have to find another one. The second question is what I asked also from myself. Can I help them? I mean, really, can I help them? And again, if it's not a hell yes, then probably it's not your niche. If it's a hell yes, you can move forward. And last but not least, can they pay you? Because this is something that a lot of people, for example, coaches, try to ignore some of the times, if they can pay me or not. I found my niche, I really like them, I can help them, but they cannot pay me. So this is not a business. This is some kind of charity stuff. So yeah, this is, if you want to find your niche, I would suggest to sit down, think about your past, think about your present, try to figure out who you can relate with, who you can help, and who you like. And of course, evaluate if they can pay you or not. If you have three hell yeses, then you probably have a niche. And I really love, it's not a quote, just something an Australian coach told in one of his videos, that because entrepreneurs and founders are also very worried most of the time that, okay, what if I choose the wrong niche and this is not for me? And I really like what he said. You are just dating your niche for 60, 90 days, maybe a bit more, but you are not marrying it. So you can change it after a while.
Wow. 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 This is, let me tell you that this was really, the other day I heard this quote of Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan till you get punched in the face. I just got punched in the face. Wow. Yeah, and let me tell you why I feel that. I'm a marketeer. One of my skills is being a marketeer. I'm a growth hacker, and for years, if ages, I will mention you that there's so many people talking about finding the niche, but defining the niche. Find your niche. But I never have heard such a clear explanation of how to find their niche as the one that you just did, man. Congratulations, and I think actually that's a powerful message for you to share as well. And thank you for sharing with me. I consider that if that's one of the let's say the visualizations and the insights that you got from coaching together with Monil. Wow. Amazing,
Yeah.
Indeed. So how has been yes, please.
Yeah. So sorry. Keep going.
So considering that, indeed, what you just mentioned as well, because when I was reflecting, when you were telling me that, is that we also tend to a lot to many people tends to consider, okay, what is the jobs that they did for the last decade, the last 5 years, the last years, and they say like, okay, I work with these people. This is the people that are in my niche. I had the same issue. For example, I work a lot in the leisure business with museums, attractions. So for many times, I was thinking, I've been thinking, okay, every now and then I try this niche because it's in my past. Yet I from that sector for a reason as well. And what you mentioned as well, like, you really like the first question. Do you like your niche? Wow, so, and you just mentioned as well that you don't marry your niche. You consider how it adapts. How do you how it has been that experience? How does it has it has been changing very often? Do you go back to niches? How would you see that kind of relationship that you have with your niche?
It's a funny story because, as we talked about, I came from sales, so I have a very strong sales background. And at the very beginning, when I started to do coaching, I knew that I have to find a niche. And I made logical decision when I started. I made my logical decision to start with sales professionals. Isn't it straightforward just to go straight ahead and help those people and help them to do more sales, generating more revenue for the company? If they are contractors, they can have higher commissions. So it, on a logical level, when I first announced my niche, it was something, okay, I have to do this. This is my background. This is what I did. This is what I'm good at. What else? And, I started to procrastinate. I started to be less motivated. And I felt that something is not good. And I also started to work, besides my coaching, I started to work with Claire from CBC on my intuition. It was a very undiscovered area of my life because I always made the logical decision for 31 years, and I always do what I had to do. And I started to work on my intuition, or I really liked how Michael Neal calls it, the innate intelligence. So I started to let it lead me. And I got a question from Claire that, do you really want to work with sales professionals, Adam? I understand all the logical pros that you told me about your decision, but this is something really coming from your heart, from your soul. And I told, no, this is not something I really want to do. I want to work with entrepreneurs, but as a coach, back then I had no reputation, I had no testimonials, no case studies, nothing. So I thought I have to start with something where I have the most experience. And I spent months working on and with people who I knew probably from the beginning that this is not my journey. This is not my goal. So yeah, my niche started to evolve. And from that point, I knew that I have to work, and I want to work with entrepreneurs, founders, startup founders, because these are the people I could relate with, I can help, and I felt that I can find those who are willing to and can pay me. So I started to work with them, but this was still too broad. I had to also niche it down. But here is the point when the whole thing starts to be interesting. How you start to niche it down, what you do. And I was like, I don't know. So this is something when a coach comes very handy and starts asking questions, which sometimes at the beginning leads nowhere. So, or you feel like nowhere. But after a certain point, you will have a tiny, tiny insight. And I thought, okay, Adam, what are you the most interested about right now? And I was like, I'm not a tech guy, but I was always interested in tech. So I started to niche it down and narrow it down that, okay, so what if I start to work with tech companies? Wow, I already had an industry, which is still huge, but something, and felt like, not a niche, but a target audience. Okay, how you can move forward. And, I really love the new AI technologies. So I was like, okay, after spending another few weeks thinking about it, spending time with coaches, by myself, because this is also important to spend some time with yourself alone and let your thoughts settle. So I figured it out. Okay, so what I really love, AI. Right now, I'm so interested, I'm so passionate about, even if I'm not a developer, so I'm using it from the client's side, but I really love those things that we can create with AI. So I was like, okay, so what if my niche is AI founders who are in an early stage, or they already have an MVP, and probably they don't know at this stage how to generate revenue, how to boost or create consistent revenue for them. And I thought, okay, so this is sales, but from a total different aspect. if you consider how I started and how I ended up. So it's still the same knowledge, still the same experience, still the same 8 years of hard work and sales I did, but in a very niche down, different aspect that I can be passionate about. And I think this is a niche.
Fantastic. Completely understand the process. Yeah. I completely understand also some of the products that you have now as well, live, that they are bringing to the market. Considering that, indeed, Adam, for Growth Hacks experiences is shared with some of the networks here in the Netherlands, which is one of the biggest ones for growth hackers. We do have entrepreneurs. We do have entrepreneurs also applying AI in their businesses, or some of them, they are even looking about new ideas. How will be the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Everyone can find me on LinkedIn. So my name, Adam Palicz, it's not so common, even if we're talking about my country, or I think we can share my contact in the caption of the video if someone is interested, going a bit deeper and see.
Exactly. Excellent. Adam, I really thank you for this moment. I feel that I have now some very interesting questions to ask to myself right away. And I do believe that actually, indeed, the processes that you're bringing, the clarity that you're bringing is indeed required for many entrepreneurs at this moment in just not only in this country, in the whole continent, because we do tend to have these conversations in different communities, and clarity in sales, clarity in the way how to bring your message is something that we are lacking a lot. So thank you for that. In this space from GrowthX Experiences, we're going to make sure to everyone to share all the links from Adam Palicz, LinkedIn, websites, and have some ways how you can connect with him. If you have any questions for Adam, please share it in the comments. We will make sure to bring it to that. Adam, thank you very much.
Thank you, Juan Carlos.
I wish you a wonderful day. Take care in Bali, and we see you soon.